2nd, 1962, JFK sent his assistant Pierre Salinger off to Cuba to purchase 1,200 Cuban cigars. Normally this would be a fairly daily task for him. After all, JFK did love his smokes. However, he did this right before he instituted the Cuban embargo, which stopped trade with Cuba. Proclamation 3447, which instituted the Cuban embargo, has been in place for 53 years now. In recent years, there's been talk about lifting this ban and restarting commercial trade with Cuba. However, many people have been furious with this idea and would prefer to keep the embargo on the communist regime-ran country. So first, there is a side that is for keeping the embargo in Cuba. And many of these people believe that it would just outright not be beneficial to trade with the communist government. I mean, under the communist philosophy, everything is ran and owned by the government. So this tie here, that laptop there, your guys' phones, they are all ours and the government's, and we share them together. And it's the best interest under the US to help the Cuban people, not the government. So why would we want to trade with a country where if we're doing trade, we'd be doing directly trade with the government, not the people? The embargo can also be used as leverage for the U.S. to pressure Cuba. So Cuba has had a long history of violating human rights actions. It is estimated that there are anywhere from 60,000 to 70,000 Cuban citizens incarcerated in prison, which is the highest in the world per capita, according to procon.org. This embargo can be used as leverage to force Cuba to sort of address those issues. We're like that naggy sibling that's like, nah, 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 you can't have this. And it's ideally, it's basically that. We're just trying to, taking that away to pressure them to address their human rights issues. It is also uncertain, the future of Cuba is also very unstable and uncertain right now. So Fidel Castro has ruled Cuba for the majority of the time it's been under communist rule, from 1959 to 2008, when he had to step down due to illness and old age. Then his brother, Raul, stepped up at age 77 and has ruled up until now. However, according to History.com staff, he is currently 85, which realistically only gives him about 5 to 10 years left for his rule. And there's no clear successor. So for all we know, there can be a civil war like what's going on in Syria currently within the next 10 years, or we can just have another communist leader step up. But just as there's many people who want to keep this embargo, there's just as many people who want to lift it. It is estimated that the Cuban embargo has also hurt our economy. The study done by the Cuban Policy Foundation has estimated that the embargo has cost anywhere from $4.84 billion annually, while the U.S. Chamber of Commerce has estimated the cost $1.2 billion. Which, any way you look at this is a huge market loss. So over the past 50 years, that means we've lost anywhere from $60 billion to $240 billion in potential exports to the Cuban country. If we were to reinstate trade with them, it would be pretty easy to do. They're only, after all, 90 miles away from that Gulf Coast. So if we were to start trade with them, it would not be hard to get the items over there. Plus, according to pro.con.org, it can help create anywhere from 1,000 to 10,000 jobs here in the States. The embargo hasn't achieved its goal over the past 50 years. So the idea behind it was they were supposed to help fix these human rights issues and adopt a democracy. Well, that hasn't changed over the past 50 years. So how is adding another 50 years onto that going to help at all if they haven't changed now? Lastly, lifting the embargo could just simply help shape the future of Cuba. So right now, there's no clear successor to the current leader. And if we were to start commerce, we could, the people of Cuba can interact with us who have been under democracy. Those people who live there currently, if they know Cuba before it's been under communist rule, they're about 80 now. Most of the people have not known anything else. So if we were to start trade, they possibly could catch on to this idea and start a revolt from the inside out. So in conclusion, no matter what side you're on, everyone should believe that we should at least take action on the issue of Cuban trade. Over this, we have discussed how the U.S. is thinking about restarting commercial trade, but also how many people are very upset with that idea. Who knows, over the next 25 years, we may witness the reopening of Cuba and be spending our summer breaks there, tanning on the beaches there. Or it can just be closed off and continue the way it is. No matter what happens, you should see a decision on Cuban trade within the next 25 years.